Enter. Welcome back to Tips from Your Boyfriend.
Hi.
I'm Chingis.
I'm Bethany.
I think you know us by now. All the viewers that we have.
So many.
I know, right?
We haven't announced this yet, just for anyone who might be watching this in the future when we have announced it.
Well, I mean, we don't have to announce it. Someone might stumble onto it and be like, oh, hey, this is kind of interesting. We can watch this.
That's true. You have a wild hair right now.
Do I? I don't think it shows up.
There you go. It's better now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I got you.
Thanks. What do we want to talk about today?
So let's talk about our whoops.
Okay.
And
I'm not wearing mine.
you, you fail.
I forgot to put it on after the shower.
That's true. So we both have a Whoop, and it's one of the ways that we like to connect over health and wellness, and we'll kind of get competitive with it, which is really fun, honestly. We started it because I had heard of it from some of my clients, and they said it's a really great thing to have. So for your birthday one year, I got you one. And it was cool because you get to see a whole bunch of metrics regarding like sleep and recovery, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that like it's fun to have it because we can compare my stats to your stats and then see who is better during the day. That's like a friendly competition, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just to see at the beginning of the day, like who got the better sleep recovery, or like at the end of the day, who had the higher strain for the day, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. Like today, I think my sleep recovery today was like 50%, or something like
Same.
that. So it's pretty low.
Yeah.
Do you remember exactly what yours was?
I think mine was 49%. It was
Okay.
really low. My heart rate was high. I think it was like 72 last night, which my heart rate is irregularly high right now. Not normally that high.
And so I beat you. Mine's hard.
Which is so annoying because I used to always win at the heart rate. I used to always win at the HRV, which is your heart rate variability, which is, you know, how the difference is throughout the night of having a high heart rate versus lower and just all that.
Yeah.
And I used to win, and now it's frustrating.
Well, I was talking about like the not the recovery, the sleep performance. My sleep performance is
Right.
like 52% or something like
Yeah.
that, which is not great because like both of us are in the yellow, which is not the worst thing, but it's not great.
Yeah.
I know that was the last night or 2 nights ago. I had like 92% recovery.
I think that was 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Throughout the day, he'll be like, so I got 92% recovery.
Yeah, you'd be complaining about how you're tired, and I'm just like, I'm not. I had 92% last night.
So rude.
That was funny.
No. It's all in fun, though. Like today, I totally beat you on strain. I'm 13. I think I was 13 strain.
You were 13
for the
strain?
day.
I don't know what I was what strain
My
for the
phone's in the
day.
other room.
But I think you got me beat, honestly. 12.1 strain on the day.
See, I totally beat you. I work
Yeah.
way harder than you.
Yeah. And so like the Whoop tracks like your strain level during the day. So the more you exercise, the higher your strain is. And a lot of the calculation, I suspect, is based off your heart rate, how fast it goes, how long it stays at the high levels, and like how often it peaks and goes down and peaks again. And obviously it has this algorithm on the back end that takes care of the calculations for you. And so it's like my 12 strain might not be the same as somebody else's 12 strain, but they should be relatively comparable. So if you have 13 strain, that means that you should have felt like you worked out harder than I did with 12 strain.
Right.
Yeah, and you beat me.
I remember last year, for example, we went snowboarding together,
Yeah.
and I'm learning how to snowboard on this mountain, and he's like, let's go for another run. And I opened up my Whoop, and I had 18 strain, and I told you, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've KO'd for the day. My strain is as high as it's going to get. But it was funny because it was an eye-opener for you to realize, like, oh, she's actually working really hard right now.
Yeah, versus I know how to snowboard. Like I'm like naturally like into it already. And so like when you had 18 strain, I opened up my Whoop and I had like 8.
If that.
If
I want
that.
to say it was 7.
Like my heart rate didn't even like increase. My Whoop didn't even detect that I was exercising because I was just chilling. I'm just going down the mountain, balancing. You know what I mean? Like
Meanwhile,
it didn't. Like,
I'm over here trying not to die in a mountain.
yeah, exactly. And so like it's actually fascinating because it's like you don't realize how hard a beginner has to work at something in order to start getting good at it.
Sure.
And so it's like for me, I can just bomb down the mountain. I can do my turns, my carving or whatever. but then like I get 7 or 8 strain, and you, who are a complete beginner, who's going like last year anyways, who's going like slower, like you're an 18 strain.
Yeah.
It like puts it in perspective that like she's working so much harder, and that's why it's like we had to take a break or be done for the day basically.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do we use it for? I like it. It has a journal capability where you can track different habits. I know you don't really do that,
No.
but you can track, I took vitamin C today, or I did acupuncture, or I stretched, or I did breath work. And after a while, after you've logged enough of those different things, it can kind of tell you what moves the needle as far as your recovery.
Yep.
For one, my period apparently helps me get really good recovery. I think I just knock out when I go to sleep, and my heart rate's super low whenever that happens.
Nope.
So I always get really good recovery then. And I think some of the ones that obviously would bring down my recovery, I think anxiety was a big one. The one that surprised me was vitamin C actually lowers my recovery significantly. Just for whatever reason, my body does not like vitamin C supplements. So yeah, I stopped taking those.
Yeah, I don't do any of those things because I feel like you have to get up in the morning, or is it in the morning or at night? I'm pretty sure it's the morning. Yeah, in the morning, and then you're supposed to like before you get your sleep score for the night for the day, like you go in there and say like, this is what the things that I did yesterday, and like these are the things like no screen time maybe before bed, or as you said, your period, or like I don't know, a bunch of different like measurements like. And then like it correlates those things, right? So like the problem for me is that like I don't want to get up every day and just fill it out.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to take the time and sit there and think about, did I do this yesterday? 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 And it's like when I first got the Whoop, I did try it, but I ended up with the few metrics that I chose to track. 9 times out of 10, I just hit no on every single one.
Yeah.
And so it didn't do anything for me.
Sure.
And so clearly I chose the wrong metrics.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I had to find like better metrics, so I had to create my own metrics and see like how things correlate, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I didn't want to put the effort into it.
I feel like you're more of a creature of habit too. Once you find your routine, you kind of stick to it. Whereas for me, I'm always trying different things and experimenting with different things too. So I think that makes a little more sense too in that regard. For our personalities, for you to be like, whereas for me, and not to be as big of a deal for you.
Yeah, but like, I agree with you on that part. But maybe I should get into the habit of filling it out.
I think so.
I feel like you get like some actual like decent insight.
Right.
Because like before filling it out, you wouldn't have known that like your period increases like your sleep score by like 10% or 15%.
Or for example, the vitamin C, realizing that wasn't really helping. Whereas like probiotics, I notice if I take probiotics, that helps move the needle for me and in a positive way and different things like that. Breath work especially. It's funny, I've only done breath work not as consistently as I used to do it, but on the few times I have, it significantly bumps my recovery.
Yeah. I should probably start doing that too then.
Yeah.
That way you can track like which ones are good or which ones are bad and just like start tracking it. That way you figure out this was the best one, this is the second best one, this is the third best one.
Right.
Start doing those things. Maybe you don't have to track them anymore, honestly, because like you know Whoop has told you those are the best things you can do for your recovery. But then start tracking a few other things and picking and choosing which ones you feel like you can do like the easiest ones to do for like the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, because that's the thing is finding out what you can lean into the most that helps for sure. And it was interesting for me too because last year I started taking thyroid medication for my Hashimoto's. And I could see month on month that my heart rate was dropping and my HRV was improving and all my metrics were getting better. And so it was something that I could physically go into my doctor with and be like, hey, like this is working for me and it's really helping and I feel a lot better.
Yep.
And I could have like physical proof of it, which was cool.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. What else about it?
Well, one thing I wanted to say is like, the 2 big metrics that it tracks are heart rate and heart rate variability. I think heart rate's pretty obvious to anybody, where it's like, okay, well, you have 60 BPM or 70 BPM, which is like beats per minute. Heart rate variability is a little bit more obscure. It tracks the variability of your heart rate as you breathe in and breathe out. So like, surprise to a lot of people, because the people don't realize this, is that like when you breathe in, your heart rate speeds up a little bit. And then when you breathe out, your heart rate slows down. I don't know the mechanism behind it. I think it has something to do with your nervous system. But like heart rate variability tracks the difference between the two. So like if you're breathing in and your heart rate increases by a small amount, and then when you breathe out, your heart rate decreases by a small amount, you're going to have a very small heart rate variability. Versus when you breathe in, your heart rate increases by a lot, and then when you breathe out, your heart rate really drops, you're going to have a much higher heart rate variability. And I'm not sure exactly what the scores signify, but I'm scoring somewhere between in the 40s typically for my heart rate variability right now.
Which isn't that high.
Which is not that high. I know that you can go into like the communities feature on Whoop, and you can see like the top performers in your area or whatever community you join, and like you can see that their recoveries are X, their strains for the day are X, and then their heart rate variability is X. And so like so many of these people's heart rate variabilities are like 100 plus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these crazy athletes, you know what I mean? First of all, some of these people have like 20 strains every single day.
Yeah.
I don't get that one. I'm just like,
well,
they
we live
run.
in marathon country. We're in Boston where everybody runs.
Yeah.
And by running, it's not like, oh, let me go for a 3-mile jog. They're like, let me run 15 miles for the day casually.
Yeah. That's all like those people have. I could never compete in terms of like having such a high strain.
Right.
Because they're like 20, I think 21 is the maximum, right?
I think so.
And so then 20 is like pretty much almost full exertion.
Yeah.
And then they have it day in, day out. But then the heart rate availability, because they're athletes and because they do so much cardio training, it's insane. And so like their heart rate's really strong.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if you're doing micro tears damage to your heart if you're going to do that much cardio.
That's the thing, is it's a lot of cardio, and it shows like the benefits of cardio on your heart rate, but it doesn't show the wear and tear in your body. That's the tough part.
I don't think it does.
Because like there are times where I'll do like a really hard lift workout and my strain will be pretty low, and I'm like, okay, well, fine. I'm going to be sore and like hobbling the next few days and have nothing to prove for it.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing sometimes.
But yeah, so that's heart rate variability. So you want a higher number because that's better, because that'll be more indicative of being an athlete.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. A few other things that I like that it tracks is that it tracks your sleep cycles. On top of like how much you recovered the night before, like you can get a score of like 0 to 100%. It tracks your sleep cycles and how much time you spend awake, how much time you spent in light sleep, how much time you spent in deep sleep, and how much time you spent in REM sleep. REM is rapid eye movement sleep, which is essentially when you're dreaming. Deep sleep is deep recovery sleep, and light sleep is when you're in a sleep state, but I guess you're not doing a lot of recovery nor doing a lot of REM, but I'm not really sure exactly what light sleep is for.
Yeah, I always think of it as you're kind of in and out of sleep. So I feel like whenever I have a lot of light sleep, it's nights where I've been tossing and turning a lot.
Yeah. Right. And so like, I think my averages for light sleep are like 30 to 40% of the night's light sleep. And then like my deep is like 20%, and then my REM is maybe 20 to 30%. And then I spend whatever the rest of the time is awake.
He gets almost double the REM and the deep sleep that I get. I'm majority light sleep most of the time. It's getting better. I feel like I've gotten deeper sleep more recently, but that's something I could definitely improve on.
So it's not really competition between us on that side, because I always win. So
Yep. Whatever. He's not competitive at all. Not at all.
Well, we don't.
No, one thing, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but one of my favorite things about the app is so we have our own team on the app where we can view each other's strain. And I remember he was at his bachelor party with his friends, and I looked at it the next day and he had like 19 strain and I think like 9% recovery or something.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was 9%. I want to say it was like 2% recovery. And I texted him. I was like, what did you guys do? And you're like, we were playing pickleball and then we went for a few drinks. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, we were playing pickleball for like 2 hours. That was fun.
Yeah.
And like we were already buzzed playing pickleball. And then we went to drink more afterwards. It was fun. It was a good time. So it is cool that you can see other people's strain, but you can also snoop on them which is a little weird, but it's okay. You know
It's
what I
fun.
mean?
He snooped on me too before. There are times where, no, when I was in California, I remember you snooped on me and you're like, dang, babe, you got all the rim last night. And
Yeah.
I hadn't even looked at my whoop yet. And I was like, oh.
That's right, because when you went to California, I snooped on you, and then you snooped on me.
Yep.
And then I didn't have any good recoveries when you were in California.
No.
They were like almost all red, maybe like one yellow in there, but like 2-3 nights of red. It was bad. Couldn't sleep at all.
You missed me.
I did. I'm just so used to sleeping in the same bed with you that like when you're gone, it just feels off.
Yeah.
My mind just can't relax, and then I just can't sleep. Yeah. I don't know. I like the Whoop on top of everything else because it's just so easy to wear. Like you just put it on your wrist and just keep it there. I've been taking it off for showers recently, but you don't have to. You can get it wet. And then like the battery clips on top of it too. So like you don't even have to take it off in order to recharge it. And then just gives you a lot of good stats.
Yeah.
Definitely stats that you can track over longer periods of time so that you can see your progress or your regress.
In my case. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I regress too. I remember that when we were, this was like a year ago, I think. Not a year ago. Maybe a year ago when I first got the Whoop. Like we kept going to the gym, we kept doing cardio on top of everything else. And so like my HRV kept getting better and better and better.
That's right.
And
We were swimming.
It was almost in the 50s and 60s at one point.
Yeah.
And then we stopped and like it started coming back down again.
Yeah. I used to have HRV and like it was like 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And that wasn't irregular for me. And now I can't even remember the last time I got over 60.
Yeah. And so like tracking over time, it's really good.
Yeah.
What else are we missing? I feel like we covered everything. We got the strain, we got the recovery, we got the sleep cycles.
Yeah.
We got snooping on each other if we really wanted to.
I think that's the majority of it. People often ask me why I chose this over the Aura, because the Aura ring is really popular right now, which has similar metrics.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wear a ring. I don't know why. It's chunky. I work on patients all day. It's not something that I can really do. I really like the fact that we don't have to take it off to charge it, and it's so comfortable that you don't even notice that it's there. And I really like the metrics that it has. I like that it has the journal aspect, and it's just something I really enjoy.
I think the Aura is really cool, but I don't think I would personally use it. I think it's probably really great for people who do majority cardiovascular exercises. If you're weightlifting or doing any sort of strength training, the fact that you need to grip the barbell or grip anything else makes it really awkward to wear any sort of ring on your finger.
Yeah.
And like the ring starts pressing really into your finger. Specifically for me, it was when I was doing pull-ups. Like we got one of those like rubber rings, like silicone rings.
Yeah, it was like the silicone wedding bands.
Yeah. And so I wore that a couple times to the gym, and it's 100% better than wearing a metal ring to the gym.
Yeah.
But it was still really uncomfortable to wear when I was doing pull-ups.
Yeah. That's the great thing about the Whoop is he has really sensitive skin, and his skin will react to like all kinds of things, and it hasn't had any issues with the Whoop, and he doesn't even notice it, because there are little things that if it's on your skin you're like, this is driving me nuts, but you've never had that issue with the Whoop. I feel like it's just so comfortable.
Yeah, I like the Whoop, but specifically it's also because it's around my wrist too, so like my fingers are free.
Yeah.
And they're not going to hurt.
So get a Whoop with your partner.
Yeah, get a Whoop if you want. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's nice. It definitely keeps you accountable to yourself over longer periods of time.
Yeah.
And it's a fun competition too.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I've had a recent goal that I wasn't gonna manually track my workouts, but I was gonna let Whoop automatically track my workouts. Like if your heart rate increases and sustains like at a high level for a long time, the Whoop will automatically say, "Oh, we tracked your workout." But if it doesn't go up, it doesn't track anything.
Yeah.
So my goal has been to like get my heart rate up, so Whoop will inform me that it automatically tracked my workout.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it tracked my workout today. It should have, because we did cardio most of the day.
Yeah. I'd imagine so.
I think so. I think it should have. I don't know. What else do we use the Whoop for?
Oh, one feature I really do love about the Whoop is I have to take my thyroid medication on an empty stomach. So you're supposed to wait 30 minutes to an hour before you eat after taking it. And so I'll set my alarm clock for an hour early before I get up, just so I can do it. And then I'll go back to sleep and then I'll wake up. That way I can eat breakfast right away. And before, my Justin Bieber alarm used to wake you up every single morning at like 5 a.m. or some horrible hour.
Yeah.
And this has a vibrating alarm on it. So it's awesome. You can just like tap it to shut it off and I can wake up and I'm not disturbing you. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. That is one thing I forgot, is the fact that it's a silent alarm. It vibrates. And so you don't have to get jolted awake by like the beeps.
Yeah. Not the most pleasant way to wake up.
No, it's not.
I like Justin Bieber.
He's fine. It's just I don't want to wake up to him. Like,
that's fair.
Because whatever song or whatever jingle or whatever sound that I put as my wake up alarm, I'm going to despise.
Yeah.
And so like I don't want to put anything that I like as my wake up alarm. And that's been really nice. But every now and then I feel like you wake up and you start smashing it and it doesn't turn off. And so I had to like roll over and hit it for you and then roll back over.
It's true. At first I'll just kind of start lazily tapping it and then I'll get angry because it's not shutting off and I'm just like, ah!
That's funny though. But most nights that doesn't happen. Most nights you just wake up, take your medication, and then go back to sleep, and it doesn't even wake me up.
That's true.
So it's nice. And then it also wakes me up at night, at the morning, whenever my alarm is.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah. Any last thoughts about Whoops? I think I had a Fitbit before Whoop, and I like the Whoop better. I think what I liked about the Fitbit, the only thing that I think well, first of all, Fitbit's free, pretty sure. Once you buy the band itself, like the app and all the tracking stuff is free.
Yeah.
Versus the Whoop, you have to like do like a 1-year subscription is what we buy. Like $10 a month or something like that, so it's not too bad.
It's a little more than that, but yeah.
How much should we pay?
Like $239 a year?
So $20 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Fitbit also had the time on its face.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Because I like being able to see what time it is simply because I can just like look over.
But we have our phones for that. How often do you not have your phone on your body?
I agree, but this is much more convenient than reaching for my phone, checking and putting my phone away.
That's true.
This is like check what the time is.
See, I always struggled with my Fitbit because I had it where I think because my wrist is so small, I would turn my wrist to look at the time and it wouldn't flip to show me the time. And I'd be like, trying to get it to show me the time. So that one always irritated me. So I didn't do well with the Fitbit. That and I didn't like the fact that it attached me to my phone because I would get text messages and calls on it too. And I'm sure you can control that, but I did not like that. I want some separation from
I kind of like that because you can control who texts you, who it vibrates for. So it's like just like I can control like my sounds on my phone. Like you're the only person that makes a sound, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if someone texts me, it vibrates, and if you text me, it vibrates and makes a sound.
Interesting.
But if anybody else does, it doesn't make a sound.
Okay.
That's what I liked about Fitbit also. It's like it vibrates when someone texts you, but you can control who texts you, who it vibrates for.
Okay.
And that way, it's like okay, it won't vibrate until like somebody like important texts you, and then it'll vibrate. Then you'll be like, oh, I kind of need to know this.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Interesting.
But Whoop is better. I like it better.
Yeah. I like having that separation of church and state.
Yeah, and then the Fitbit you have to take off in order to charge it. And then you charge it, and then like a day later you realize, oh, I haven't worn my Fitbit forever. So it is what it is.
Definitely.
To each their own, though. If you like Fitbit, do Fitbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on?
Yeah.
All right, what was the next topic?
Engagement rings.
Engagement rings? Right.
He only gets a little bit passionate about this one. A little bit.
Let's start slow. So I think that we generally do a health topic, which is the Whoop, and then we do like a relationship topic, which is the engagement rings, talking about engagement rings and all that. And I think engagement rings obviously very important for long-term relationships and like taking it to the next step. So it's like if you're in a relationship and you know you want to marry this person, you definitely want to talk about engagement rings a little bit beforehand. Then you get an engagement ring, you get the ring, you get engaged, and you get married. All great stuff. The reason why I wanted to talk about engagement rings is because of this phenomenon where it's progressive more and more so these days, where women go out and choose their engagement ring, and then men just go and buy it and don't get a choice about what it is or anything like that. You know what I mean? I feel like traditionally speaking, the man would go out and do his research, but he doesn't half-ass it. There's no half-assing involved. And he would buy an engagement ring for the woman and then surprise her essentially with what the engagement ring is. Like, you have a discussion about likes and like kind of preferences and kind of stuff beforehand, but she doesn't come with you to when you go buy the engagement ring, and you just give it yourself and then you like propose. But I feel like these days everything's backwards. I don't know if you want to like
jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming from a girl's perspective, what I hear from a lot of different women is they're afraid that he's going to pick something that they hate and they're going to get stuck with it the rest of their life. And I get that 100%. And I get the whole progressive of, hey, let's go as a team to pick this out together because it's something really meaningful. But at the same time, for me personally, how often do you get surprised in life? How often do you get to have that? And how often do you get to have something that's like really from the person who really loves you? And so for me, that was something that I really wanted, was like a piece of you with me, not just like all me up on there. And so we had a conversation about styles I liked, just kind of briefly.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't want a round ring. It's not my jam. And then same thing with gold. I didn't want anything gold. And we had talked, you were like, well, I'll just talk to one of your friends about it. But all my friends are in California. And so I said, how about instead, I'll send you an email with a few styles. If you want to have it to reference, you can. If you don't want to reference it, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's not a round ring and it's not gold. Yeah. And just kind of let you be.
Yeah. And then I took our conversations. I got a feel for it. I saw the pictures that you sent me. I also got a feel for those. And then I went online first and looked at rings and kind of tried to understand exactly what was important about rings, what was not important about rings. I used to remember all this, but there was like a bunch of Ks. Or Cs? No, Ks.
It's a Cs.
Cs.
It's
carat, color,
cut,
size. That's carat.
Carat, yeah.
Clarity, and something else. 4 Cs or 5 Cs? I think it was 5. I'm not remembering the last one.
I'm not sure.
But anyways, you do some research, you figure it all out, you go to the jewelry store of your choice, and then you talk to the person there, or you set up an appointment with them so that you can kind of go through their stock and try to pick out a ring for them. That's exactly what I did, right? So I did the research, I tried to understand exactly what she liked. I went online, I looked at trends, I looked at the stocks of a lot of different jewelry places, and then I went to the jeweler, sat down for an hour with the lady working behind the desk essentially, and we spent that hour talking about exactly what I wanted to get. And then I got exactly what I wanted to get. And then it takes a little bit of time to get there, and then like they send you into a box, which comes very discreetly, so nobody knows what it is. And then you take it out and you propose, and everything's great. And then you love the ring, right?
I love it. I am obsessed with it. And
Yeah.
It's funny too, because I was going back through, this is way after you had proposed, I was going back through photos of just screenshots I had taken and just things I had saved on Pinterest and whatever, and just cleaning out and deleting. And I had found a ring that was almost exactly like the one that you picked out for me, is one that I had really liked. Mm-hmm. So you hit the nail on the head. I am obsessed. So nicely done, babe.
Yeah, that was my experience, and I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
Now, I was at the store and I was talking to the lady back there, and I was asking her, like, there's this trend of like people coming in together, and then the woman comes in by herself and chooses the ring, and I'm just asking her like, okay, well, what are the rates here? What are we talking about? Like,
Yeah.
how often does a guy come in by himself? How often does a couple come in by together? And then like, how often does a girl come in by themselves? And she said it's about a quarter of the time the guy comes in by himself, a quarter of the time a girl comes in by herself, and then about half the time, the rest of the time is the couple comes in together. And I was just like shocked, because I'm just like, I wasn't shocked about the fact that like couples coming in together, and like that seems like the trend, because like when I used to talk to like all my buddies in my last job at Tufts, like they all were on that side where it's just like they're talking about how a woman should have input into it and like how she should choose it, blah blah blah, because like what if she hates it and then she's stuck with it forever. And it was basically 1 against 10, and how they're all on the side of couples going in together. And I thought that was going to be the majority, which it was. What shocked me is that about 25% of the people that come in is just the woman coming in to pick out the ring that the man's going to buy for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want an effing ring, go buy an effing ring. You know what I mean? If you want an engagement ring, let the man buy the engagement ring. Let him choose it and let him buy it.
Yeah. That's the thing for me, is if it's supposed to symbolize you guys as a team, then you should be a part of that team for sure. And yeah, the involvement can be in different ways, right? Like I appreciated that we had those conversations ahead of time. You actually did the research, and like I trusted him to know what I love. He knows me in and out. You know me better than anyone. And so it wasn't something where I was worried about you picking some bizarre style. I will say though, I do know someone who she thought she was like super loosey-goosey and like doesn't care. And she was just like, oh, well, I just don't want this. And he got her a ring, and it was just really kind of half-assed. And so they had to go back and get a different ring. So if you know that you're a little bit picky, at least communicate that. That way he's on the same page. Like, communicate what you want, but also give him the freedom to express himself in it too and be a part of it as well.
Right. I was going to say that, like, if you're the woman getting proposed to and you get a really shitty ring, don't just stay there and pretend like you like it or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because it's the guy's fault entirely that he got you a shitty ring.
Yeah.
Like, the process should be, I think so, first stage, the guy gets the ring and proposes, and if she loves it, she loves it. That's amazing. That's like the ideal, right? But if she hates it, okay, now the guy has been proven inept. Like, completely, like, incompetent with choosing a ring. So now it is like paramount that you guys both go together to choose the ring, because the guy just fucking doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, like, that shouldn't be the first step.
Yeah. Breathe.
I'm breathing.
It was funny. I had asked one of my older clients about this. He's an older generation. I was like, oh, so there's this new trend where women will pick out their own ring, or, you know, couples will go together. And he just looked at me and he was just like, I'm sorry. He's like, that is the most like pretentious, entitled thing ever. He's like, this is my gift to the person I'm proposing to. So, which I know is an older thought, right? Like, it's his generation. And I do think things are a little bit more teamwork now, maybe compared to earlier generations. But again, I think for me, when it came to like my decision and how it worked out, because most of my friends picked it out together with their partner. For me, again, it comes down to like, first of all, I want something from you that you love as well. But more than anything, it's just the surprise of it. It's part of the experience, and why lose that?
That, and the guy should put in some effort.
Yeah.
It's like,
make him work.
versus like you go in together and the guy just sits there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not even participating. He's just there as emotional support.
Yeah.
While
And the
she
paycheck.
and the paycheck, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like when the guy and girl to go together, it's nice in the sense that the guy's involved, and it gives the girl cover because the guy was involved. But it's essentially the same thing. The girl just goes in and picks what she likes, and the guy pays for it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, the girl just goes, picks out a ring, and then goes up to the guy and be like, this is what I want. And just, here's the check, here's the bill. You know what I mean?
Relationships are like that.
Apparently 25% of them, because it's like...
But, I mean, I think that's kind of reflective, too, of the way that you and I like to view relationships is like, I don't know. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that thought, actually. That kind of just went, wait, that didn't make sense.
Like,
but
I don't think it's only woman's fault in this also. I think it's half men and half women, because
right.
the men who go out there and like go as a couple together, or the men who are in relationships where only the woman goes, I'm pretty sure it's a symptom of the fact that the man just doesn't want to put any effort into getting an engagement ring.
Yeah, 100%.
He thinks to himself like, well, I'm paying for it anyways, so I might as well just let her choose exactly what she loves, and then I'm just gonna buy it for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for example, too, I appreciate that you care about the things that we do together. So, for example, I hear from a lot of people when they were planning their wedding, where's their hubby and all this, and the woman is making all the decisions. Or when it comes to house cleaning, oh, I do all the house cleaning, he doesn't do any. Or you hear that with babies of, oh, he's just helpless and doesn't know what to do with the baby, and so he just does whatever. And that to me just like breaks my heart, because I want a partner, I want a teammate, I want somebody who I can rely on, and vice versa, and who's my equal in a sense, where we balance each other out in our strengths. And so yeah, for someone who's just not pulling their weight, and I have to do all of it, no thank you. Sorry, that was me on my little tangent. You had your ring tangent, that's my tangent.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that side too. Like, effort should be from both sides. It doesn't have to be like identical effort.
Yeah.
But put in effort the way you do into your relationship in whatever manner that you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you have to do dishes one day and I do dishes the other day. It's like, okay, you can do the dishes the entire time and then I can vacuum the entire time or something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as it's a reciprocal amount to set, I would say. It doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as like effort's being put into it.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
It's balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, rings, holy crap. I was sitting, no, this was at Tufts, and I was sitting at the table talking to them, and every single girl at the table was like mad at me. Mad at me that I told them that she shouldn't have the say in like this, and like what the ring is.
Yeah,
it's like you talk about it, right? She'll have a say in the sense that like she'll give you like a general idea of what she wants, but then the guy has to go and pick it out and do it himself. Plus, it's like, what about those traditional things where it's like the guy gets a ring that's like from his grandmother's side of the family or something like that and gives it to his wife? You know what I mean? Neither of you get a say. It's like it's like a family heirloom.
That's one I would struggle with, honestly. Like, that would be a really tough one if you have this ring that's super important to your family, and then you give it to me and it's not my vibe at all. That would be a discussion we'd have to have for sure. I would struggle with that one, honestly.
Well, I feel like a lot of those places, you reset it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take the stone and then you reset it into a different like band.
Yeah. So I'd struggle with that one.
You can't say no to that one.
Well, let's just say I'm grateful you did not propose with like great grandma
like,
Lulu's
yeah, right.
ring.
That's like, how do you say no? It's like, imagine like your grandma comes up to you and says like, your grandfather, after he fought in the war, he bought this ring with his life savings, and like it's meant the world to me, and I want you to have it for when you propose to your future wife. How are you supposed to be like, Grandma, fuck you? No, you can't say that.
Well, it's kind of like, so we watched Disney's Elemental last night, and it's kind of about this woman who her dad has been raising her to own the shop that they immigrated to the U.S. He built up this shop from nothing, and he wants to retire and give it to her one day, and she just really does not want to run the shop. And so it's kind of that idea. But at the end of the movie, she expressed herself and put her boundaries, and life was good. So there could be another use for Grandma's ring other than your engagement ring.
Yeah, she can sell it to somebody else.
No, they could put it on a necklace or wear it on a different finger, but it doesn't have to be an engagement ring. Because at that point, it's not even from you, it's from Grandma. So I'm feeling very relieved at this moment that was an otter scenario.
I don't know how to say no to that. I just don't. Like if a family member gives you like a family heirloom like that, How do you say no without breaking their heart?
Yeah. You
I
just
don't.
find a way around.
I guess if you don't want to break their heart, just never get married, I guess.
Goodness.
Or be like, Grandma, give it to him. Like, give it to my brother.
Exactly.
He's getting married first. I don't know. What was it? There was like a huge argument with like Sabir and Katie at my last job about these wedding rings. And I was telling them that no, they didn't get a choice. Essentially. They just like, I don't know.
I think it's the way you phrase it too, because you make it sound so extreme, as if like it's only the man's choice, when really that's not your intent. Your intent was like, hey, I know you and I know what you love, and I still want a sense of that too. And I think
Right.
that probably wasn't communicated as well as it could have been, and they just hear like, woman gets no say.
But like, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's traditional, right? And like all the traditions are being thrown out the window currently. So it's like there should be some traditions that we keep. It's like the man proposes to the woman, not the woman proposes to the man. It's different. It's like you see that stuff every now and then. You're like, ugh.
You're going there.
What? Going where? And then it's like, I don't know, like it's just it always strikes me as odd. And I'm always like it gives me such a strange impression.
Yeah. I think where you come from, just to clarify a little bit, and correct me if I'm not clarifying for you well, but I think for you it comes from more of a place of like wanting men to step up, as opposed to being like, women are the worst and they're so dominating and whatever. I don't think that's really your intent. I think a lot of it's more from like, hey, step up. Or a mix of both.
Mix of both, probably. I'm
Yeah.
thinking more of like a traditional, not traditional, changing norms, and how I feel like the norms shouldn't really be changing too much. The norms are there for a reason. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the norm was always the man proposes to the woman. If the norm ever changes where the woman starts proposing to the man, I don't think men would ever say yes.
But they do.
In what? In situations where the woman proposes?
Yeah.
We only see the videos of yes. I don't think we've ever seen a video of a guy saying no.
That's what I'm
And I
saying. Is
feel
there are
like-
lots of videos out there of men saying yes.
But I feel like the videos of men saying no don't ever get onto the internet. I'm pretty sure the majority of all men say no. I think so.
I don't know. People like to shame on YouTube, but
I don't know.
anyways, this isn't our area of expertise.
Yeah,
I know
we're
we got way off topic.
We're getting into like controversial stuff now, into gender norms and all that, and how things are not really flipping but changing. I still don't think that a man and woman should go to the jewelry store together to pick out a ring. The man should just go get the ring. Like, it actually makes it meaningful. If the woman just chooses her ring, it's just like, okay, well, I'm just the piggy bank. I'm her wallet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no meaning to it. I don't know.
Got it out.
Not really.
You ready to move on?
I could definitely rant some more, but I would just, if I ranted, I would just be ranting about the same points over and over, though.
Yeah.
Finding a hard time expressing exactly why it annoys me so much. So I don't know. Well, we can move on though.
I would say that's something for you to like think about though, because then if it bothers you that much, maybe sit with that and figure out why it is that you can't like put your finger on why is this bothering me.
I think it just bothers me in the sense that men just become relegated to being a piggy bank in that sense. Whereas in the past, the man would obviously take the woman's input and like preferences, but then he would go get the ring, be more meaningful, and you get married. Versus now, the woman just chooses her ring, the man's the piggy bank and forks over his credit card and goes from there.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Do we have enough time for the next one, or should we end it here?
I don't know. So I think we've been live for about 45 minutes. I think if we end anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
So So do you want to do eras or do you want to do stream of thought?
You choose.
I think we should probably work on do some stream of thought.
Yeah. We'll do eras next time because it's a really fun topic that we want to talk about. And so we'll save that for next time. We'll leave you with a little teaser because I want to have enough time to actually dive into that one because I think it's a fun topic.
Yeah, eras is an end of an era, things like that.
Yeah,
Or
not
it's like,
Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
oh,
we didn't
yeah.
get a chance to go to that one.
We didn't want to go to that one.
I wanted to.
I didn't want to.
I feel like T Swift, regardless of whether you're a fan or not, just because of like her, how iconic she is, you got to see her perform once before you die.
I disagree.
You do you, boo.
That's okay.
He's coming with me to go see Justin Timberlake, so.
Yes, eventually.
No, and we have tickets.
Oh, we did buy tickets. Oh, yeah, that's right, we did.
So he's coming with me to go see Justin Timberlake.
I'm going with you.
So.
That's nice.
Yay!
Yeah. But anyway, stream of thought. What were you thinking about today?
Today, I was thinking about a lot of different projects that I have going on, but then also, too, I was kind of thinking about things that I used to really love when I was in LA that I don't have here and how I can bring that here. Because I feel lately that I've been feeling kind of stuck. And we're in a bit of a transitional period of our life anyways, but I feel like personally too, I feel a little bit stuck. And so just kind of thinking of how can I tweak, whether it's my schedule, whether it's my habits, mentality, whatever, to kind of bring me into a better place. And so that was something that I was kind of thinking about, or what were things that really bring me joy and kind of make me feel alive, and versus the things that maybe I shouldn't devote so much energy to, or maybe things that I need to tweak because they're not serving me anymore like they used to.
Like you wanted to pick up yoga once a week?
Yeah, so that was something that I had brought up to you, is that before I used to do yoga all the time and I had instructors that I would see every week that I absolutely loved, and that was something that really just got my mind really clear and focused. And I also had a community around it too. I had friends at yoga, I had instructors that would really pour into me as mentors, and I don't have that out here. And so I brought up to you if it was okay with budget, or if we could swing it to add that in, where I go once or twice a week to a yoga studio that's nearby that I really enjoy. And of course you supported me in that, and were like, whatever you need to feel healthy mentally, physically, whatever, like let's do it. Which I really love and appreciate. But I think that's a bigger thought for me too, because like going back to the breath work and noticing how much that impacts me physically, and where do I create that time during my day so that's a consistent habit, instead of me just randomly doing it and kind of suffering meantime. Suffering's a dramatic word, but at the same time, I know I'm a better person when I do this, and so I'm depriving myself of that when I don't.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot to go off of.
Sorry.
Definitely do the yoga. What I was going to say about yoga is that, like, on the East Coast, yoga is probably not as good as on the West Coast, specifically LA. And so you're probably used to like the tip top best of the best in LA, and then you go here, and like the yoga that we go to here is kind of not that great.
Yeah.
There's some personalities that are nice. Yeah. Like I remember the girl from Lifetime, the last one we went to, we liked her because like her personality was on point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say if you can find a yoga class that does it for you, definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
What about you, babe? What were you thinking about?
Stream of thought, I was thinking about today how I was procrastinating at work and I was unmotivated. The kind of work I was doing was not motivating for me. But I was also took that and like kind of expanded on the sense that I was trying to figure out exactly what I want, like what I desire. You know what I mean? And by desire, I mean like you'd be disappointed or angry if you did not get what you desired. You know what I mean? You really work hard to it and you feel really good when you get it. But then like if you never get it, you become like really upset that you didn't get it. For some reason not growing up, but like for some reason I don't really have too many desires where I'd be upset if I didn't get it. I think I've adopted a mindset of always going without and being accepting of the fact that I can go without. Versus now I think I have to create these desires in myself that I would motivate me to do things to get to those things that I want.
Yeah.
And I need to figure out how to like change my mindset essentially. But like I don't know how to like stoke or create a desire in myself.
Yeah.
I feel like I've so long been essentially numb to desires that I don't know how I'd want to like create a longing for something. Like when me and you got married and we lived together and like we sleep together and all that kinds of stuff, like we get into the habits of these kinds of things and I can't go without that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you're gone, like I want you to come back because then like we get back into like the comfortable zone that we've been in. But that's not what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want something that would make me work for it, but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. I think that's something, it's just you really have to sit with yourself to find it. Because I struggle with that too. I struggle with just clarity, I think, for me. Like you said, just we both kind of grew up in just not really, just kind of putting our wants to the side.
Yeah, I think so, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And let me clarify that really quick. It's not about impulses in the sense that like I want like a Coke or I want like a beer or I want like to play video games or I want to like read a book or something like that in the moment where like and like satisfying those little kind of desires, you know what I mean? This is kind of like a desire of like this is what I want in like a year or like this is what I want in life. This is what I want for my career. This is what I want for my family. This is what I want for myself in the future.
Yeah.
Like I think I have a desire of wanting a house. I want one, right?
Yeah.
And we're taking steps to be able to buy a house in the future.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's strong enough because I feel like I could be doing more, but like I'm getting a little complacent with what we're doing already.
Yeah. Do you ever allow yourself though to imagine what kind of house you'd want or daydream about what it might have or what it might look like or what it might feel like to be inside of it or like imagine our future family inside of a house? Like, do you ever allow yourself to kind of sit with that imagery and picture that?
I picture so I don't have too many high expectations for buying a house. I want to buy a house. The most important thing for me is with the house is location. That it's in a nice neighborhood that me and you are going to enjoy like to the maximum possible thing. Besides that, the house has to have a good frame to it. And then everything else I can almost just deal without. Like we can just, it can be a fixer-upper and we can work on it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
slowly over time, like we save up money and we fix things here, fix things there.
Yeah.
And like we can turn it into something that's much better than what it was.
Yeah.
Like I have a desire just to buy a house in a great location with a great frame.
Yeah. But I think that's where it comes in though, is imagining what we could do with it, right?
Yes.
And I think that's where like allowing your mind to even just picture what that could look like of what we can make of something that is a good frame and great location, not much else.
But like I don't let my mind go that much further though, because that's like I don't want to like count my chickens before they hatch, right?
Yeah.
It's just like first I want to get 20 eggs. You know what I mean? I'm not going to think to myself, oh, once I get 20 eggs, I'm going to have 20 chickens. Like, no, I want 20 eggs. And then I'm going to incubate the shit out of them. And then once I have like 19 chickens, then I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to take care of these 19 chickens.
Sure. I think just energetically, though, creating momentum by visualizing and imagining things, though, because I feel like that kind of creates some momentum towards moving towards things or creating that desire, stoking that. Because if you always just wait for things to fall in line, then like you said, the motivation behind it is going to die pretty quickly.
I just don't, like, I'm just in the habit of not getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Where I don't want to think 5 steps into the future if I haven't achieved even 1 step.
Yeah.
It's like, if I start planning for 5 steps and I fail the first step, what was all that planning for?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to plan for the first step and do the first step.
Yeah.
And then like, if I know that the first step is guaranteed, then I'll start planning for the second step.
Yeah. Which is where I think you balance me out, because I'm definitely like big picture and like, okay, we're going to have to do all these different things to get there. And then you're like, okay, but what's the first step and how do we do that? And so you always kind of bring me back. So I think we definitely kind of balance each other in that regard, because I'm always like, woo, wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah, I never want to like get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
it's just like tough because I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to play QB. It's like, bro, you got to make the football team first. Try out, make the football team. And then once you make the football team, then fucking shoot for the QB spot. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. Like, if you're like, how your heart sets on being wide receiver and then you just never make the football team, is so like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, I can't deal with that. For me, I'm always just like, okay, football team. What do I need to do to make the football team, and start doing that?
It's true.
And then I make the football team. Then I'm like, all right, what's my next step? What am I doing?
Imagination is so powerful, though. I mean, there are so many therapists and people who talk about the power of visualization, and that's like something. You look like you're about to laugh.
No, I'm not.
But there's a sports psychologist that I listen to, and he always talks about how the top athletes, he works with some Olympic athletes and some of the top NFL athletes that are in the world, and he talks about they're the top visualizers ever. They can visualize everything down to like the color, to the line, to whatever, about how they'd imagine their day going. And it's a way of kind of preparing yourself to receive that in a way.
Agreed. I think we're talking about different things, though.
I think we are. I think we're tired. I think we're rambling a little bit.
I'm not against visualization. I'm just against getting ahead of myself.
Sure.
I'm not sure how else to describe it.
Yeah. But I think what I'm trying to say from my point, though, is that it's a way of maybe for you starting to want something that badly, right? Like allowing yourself to actually like go there.
Like, imagine, okay, I got a really good example. Imagine, this is like a funny meme that you see online every now and then of a guy who's just like, I saw this pretty girl at the coffee shop and then I imagined an entire life together. Jesus Christ.
But then you have those success stories of someone who's like, I dreamed about her, and then I went up to her and proposed, and then we're married for 35 years. So you never know.
Step one, go talk to her. Go say hi. Don't fall in love and imagine having 3 kids with somebody when you haven't even spoken a word.
This is true.
Jesus, it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like people need to learn that. It's like...
Well, okay, then from your perspective, as far as like the whole, like going back to giving yourself permission to desire, what do you think that would be like for you? What would be your first step towards getting that?
I don't know. I feel like my first step would be like, try to remember things when I was a child that I really, really wanted.
That's a really good one.
And try to understand like why I wanted it, like how happy it would have made me if I got it, and like things like that.
That's a really good one, babe.
Yeah.
Is there anything off the top of your head that...
No.
That's a really good point, though. That's something that I've heard, too. Kind of going back to, like, they say that for people who are, like, lost in their career, things like that. Well, what did you love as a kid? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah. Same. Like I said, I got to think about those things that kind of light up my fire instead of making me be like, meh.
Yeah. Okay, last thought is that, like, yes, I want to want things, but I don't want to want things like toys.
I know.
I don't want to be like, oh, damn, I really desire a boat. You know what I mean?
I want a boat.
I don't want a boat.
I want friends with a boat. That's what I really
friends
want.
Friends with a boat's amazing.
Exactly.
Boat ourselves? No,
No.
Thank you.
Nope.
I'm not about to maintain a boat. But yeah, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
No.
All right. I think this is episode 11.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't look in the camera once today.
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah. I've been trying to make more of an effort to look in, but I feel like I mostly just look at you because I'm too intimidated to look at the camera.
I feel like whatever we look is fine. It's a conversation between us, and eventually we'll have some comments and people coming in and talking to us. But like then we can like read the comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we'll have to kind of set it up where like we can see like a comments somewhere else,
Right.
somewhere close by.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool.
I love our conversation.
Yes, anyway. All right. Anyways, this is Tips from Your Boyfriend, episode 11, I believe.
Yes.
And then we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. I'm Bethany.
I'm Chingis signing off.
Bye.